It's that time of the month type feeling. It's time for Scott's Monthlies. Hello again and welcome back to Scott Reviews Things. Hope you're all keeping really well and life's treating you well, unlike Bernard Manning. Bernard Manning? Who's the one that does stuff to turkeys? Not Bernard Manning, was it? Oh, this is starting well. Anyway, yes, I've completely lost my train of thought. Welcome to October's top 5 beers that I've had in October. You can see that I've rehearsed all this. Absolute shambles. So, for people that don't know, my name's Scott. Welcome along. Thank you for joining me. And I do beer reviews, I do food reviews. I've cut down the beer reviews because I'm losing weight, keeping fit. Done an almost 4-mile run today. So I've started using Untappd, Pokemon Go for beer. A little bit more. Obviously, if we go out, then I'll tag in my beer, give it a rating. I don't rate the beers on the channel. I'll just give it a thumbs up if I like it. If it's all right, I give it a thumbs in the middle. If I think it's absolute shite, big old thumbs down. But obviously on Untappd, you have to rate them. That's part of the fun. So what I started doing is I did it last month. I collated all the information of the beers that I'd had for the month, and then gave a top 5, some honourable mentions, and the brewery of the month. And today's the day where we're going to go through October's beers. Now, I tend to not, unless they're really good, include the beers that I've had on the channel, and just to try and freshen it up a little bit, to be fair. And on this one, I've created a spreadsheet. What's this shit here? I don't know what that means. I don't want to do that. So I've got a spreadsheet of all the beers that I've tapped in on Untappd. Now there's quite a few this month because I've been a bit naughtier this month, but also there are a lot that were at least I think 9 of them were little sort of tasters, so I'd have like a flight of beer and get like 3 different beers, so little 1/3s. So it's not quite as bad as it looks. So overall, there's about 40 beers, and that sounds quite a lot, doesn't it? Sounds quite a lot. I'd be quite ashamed of myself. But when you think I was drinking 4 beers a day, most days over a month, what's that? 120 beers a month. You know, cut down a bit. So what I've done is I've made a note of all the beers that I've had, and put my scores in, what the style is, and the brewery, and then it's given me my top 5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some honourable mentions. I'm going to give you the 3 worst beers that I've had this month. I'm going to give you my brewery of the month, and then my top 5 beers of the month. I don't know if I'm going to remember all that, so if we miss something out, we could go quite well, couldn't it? So let's put the what's it called? The spreadsheet on the screen, and you can see the beers that one has had this month. And you can see down the bottom, I've omitted. Oh, hang on, I need to screen record this. Let me just screen record it so we know where we're at. Bosh! I've omitted 1 beer that could be conceivably my beer of the month, and that's at number 46, wherever it is on the screen, and it's Oregon Trail. And you're going to say, why have you admitted Oregon Trail, Scott, when you've clearly given it a 5 out of 5? With this, one of my key areas is that I must have had this for the first time. And obviously Oregon Trail is up here. I've had it many times, and it would be probably number 2 Well, it's a toughie. I have to think about that one. But I've omitted it because it's not the first time that I've had Oregon Trail, even though I've given it the full 5 out of 5. Although it does lack a little on keg, it did lack a little bit of that Oregon Trail bitterness, which was a bit annoying to me. So yeah, that's my omission from this. And then my 3 worst beers of the month, and I'm gonna be honest, they were fucking terrible. So the first one was Custard Cream from Brew York. This is my worst beer of the month. Unbelievably bad. It was a Custard Cream white stout. Now, white stout is a bit odd anyway, an unneeded style. We had this in the Lawrence pub down here. Wanda had one as well. Now, I'm going to be very honest and say Wanda gave hers about a 4. That's not a 4, that's a 4. About a 4, maybe 4 and a bit out of 5. She said it was really nice. I gave it 0.25 and I described it as fucking awful, because it's fucking awful. There's no bounds and bones about it. My score is correct and Wanda's is completely wrong. It's a horrific beer. Just filled with more like vanilla essence and just awful. So if you see Custard Cream from Brew York, don't buy it. It's crap. Second worst beer of the month, and I'm very sad to say this one because I absolutely love this brewery, but it's Woodstock from Elusive Bruin, and it's a West Coast Pale Ale. No, it's not. It's an East Coast Pale Ale. I do apologise. Or an East Coast IPA. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I gave it 0.75 out of 5. I thought it was absolutely terrible, which is unusual for Elusive. I think Elusive do a lot of very good West Coast IPA style. They do some I've not been. I like Morris, man, but I've had a couple of their stouts that haven't quite hit the mark. And this East Coast Pale Ale IPA, I can't remember what it was, 0.75 was dreadful. It really was. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I know Barry had it as well, and Barry gives everything 4 and above, and he gave it 2.5 or something like that. So it's not just me. I wasn't a huge fan of that as well. And then the third worst beer of the month came from a brewery I'd never really heard of, called Elephant School Brewing. But we were in the Lawrence and I fancied something slightly different. And it was called Bumble Duck, and it was supposed to be a honey porter. And I know Ian Withell, my friend met through Untappd. He wasn't a fan of this either, and I just thought it was crap. There was no hint of the honey. As a porter, it was shockingly thin. It was more like a slightly hopped up mild, and I just thought it was really not doing anything what it was promising to do. And I had a pint of it. I had to drink a fucking pint of it. So it didn't do it for me at all. So my 3 worst beers of the month are the Custard Cream from Brew York, utter shite, Woodstock from Elusive Brewing, and Bumble Duck, honey porter, which wasn't honey, and it was barely a porter. And then we've got loads of 3s, so Carving Yams, Double Uranus, Fight Back IPA. We've got some 3.375s. So Transatlantic Crush from Wylam, Clawhammer from Dancing Man, Moving in the Dark from Unity, Substitute from Track Brewing. There's a lot of stuff from Phantom. I've had this one, really like Phantom, Neptune, Downpour. Just missing out was from South Sea Brewing's What the Tide May Bring. Dave's got his new brew kit going and it's doing really, really well. Really good stuff. We've got some 4s before we hit the top 5 and the really honourable mentions. So you've got the Flirtzinger Weissmarsen, Largest Automobile from Good Brewing, Poleaxe from Dancing Man. I've had some really, really, really good beers this month. Now is it 3? We've got the 3 beers that have just missed out on the top 5. So the first of that was from Hackashaw, and it was their Oktoberfest Marzen, which I had at staggeringly good. their Oktoberfest, 4.25 out of 5. Really, really good. I'm not a huge expert on any beer, and I would be criminally wrong to tell you that. But Fest beer is a style I like, but it's not something I gravitate to. But every one of these three are a fest beer, and the Oktoberfest Marzen was really, really good. I had the Flirtsinger Weiss Beer Hell, which was really nice as well. So a sort of a lighter Weiss beer, which I thought was really good. I thought it was really, really good. And I had that at Staggeringly Good as well for their Oktoberfest. Nothing wrong with that at all. And then the third honourable mention was from Ansbacher Hobday, and I had their Ansbacher Fest beer, and I had that while I was in Peterborough on the charters boat, and I thought it was great. Really toasty, really, really nice, and just an absolutely fantastic beer. All three of them really unlucky to have missed out on opportunity. Don't know what that means. Yeah, all three of them really unlucky to have missed out on the top 5, the glamorous top 5. But first we're going to get to my brewery of the month. And my brewery of the month this month, last month was Disruption is Brewing out of Camberley, just out around by the Aldershot area. This month is a brewery, and it was very close. It was going to be South Sea Brewing Company, who I'm a huge fan of Dave Eastwood's beer, and now he's got his new brewery kit, and he's moved into his new brewery. He's beginning to produce some newer beer and really pushing it out, and there's a couple of the newer beers that have hit this list. What the Tide May Bring, he's brought back Lights Out, and there's one of the beers, his new beers, is in my top 5. So they almost, South Sea Brewing almost was my brewery of the month, and they were pipped. They were pipped at the post yesterday. No, it wasn't. It was Saturday, so it's Monday today. I'm recording this on Monday, and they were pipped at the post by Make as it's spelled, Mackie Brewery in Portsmouth. Now, don't go over to Mackie very often. And the reason being is they do a lot of sour IPA, and I'm not a huge fan of the sour IPA style. I like an IPA to be bitter, and it's just a style that doesn't resonate with me. But my friends, I do apologise, Dean from Dean's Beer Reviews, and Gemma, his lovely wife, came down over the weekend. So we popped in to Mackie and had a couple of beers, and they were absolutely fantastic. So, and I'm not going to tell you what those beers are because they're both in my top 5, and that's why Mackie is my brewery of the month. Hello Lee, how are you? So if you see anything from Make or Mackie, as they're actually called, which is named after a dwarf planet, all their beers are space themed. They're fantastic. I know the craft beer basic Rowie is always waxing lyrical about Mackie. So if you see anything from them, you're not going to be disappointed. They do 500ml cans, which is always bonus. So Mackie are my brewery of the month, and I think they're just been tremendous. So number 5 in my beers of the month. Number 5 is from South Sea Brewing. It is, I think it's a hopped up version, slightly higher ABV version of Casemate, which was South Sea Brewing's core range beer, and it's Casematey. So Casemate came in at about 5.6%. Casematey comes in at 6.2, and I think it's tremendous. I think that extra oomph in the ABV has really elevated the beer to something that's really, really decent. I think he's playing around with older recipes and sort of bringing them slightly more up to date. And I think the Alpaca Pool Party made it into last month's list. Casematey's really, really good, and it looks like Dave's beginning to spread his wings a little bit by pushing beer out to other local places. So I'm hoping some of this stuff might actually get around a little bit further as well. So number 5 is Casematey from South Sea Brewing Company. Number 4, and it's the first one from my brewery of the month, and it's the Motueka Universe double or Imperial New England IPA, coming about 8%, something like that. I had this with Dean on tap at their brewery on Saturday, and it's glorious. They've got a whole series of single hop beers. So Motueka, this is their single hopped one, and the single hopped double IPA, double New England IPA, and it's fantastic in the glass. And it was hoppy, it was juicy, and it was doing everything. It hit the ABV really nicely, creamy in the mouth. It was, I mean, dangerous to drink. I gave it 4.75 out of 5. It was dangerously close to being a 5 out of 5. Absolutely loved it. I think it's in can. If it's in can, I might pick one up and do a proper review of it, because I think it's worthy of showing you guys exactly how good it is. And I really like their glasses as well. The glasses are sublime. So number 4 is Motueka Universe from Mackie Mackie. If you see that in any bottle shop, it might well be on Trembling Madness. Pick it up, you are not going to be disappointed. Number 3 is a beer you're not going to be able to get hold of, but I hadn't noticed this. All 3 of these are all local breweries to me, and I've only just noticed this now. But number 3 is Cam's Roadworks, and that comes from Portcullis Brewery, that's up in Portchester, about 4 miles from us, 3-4 miles away, just outside the top of the city. And it's Portcullis have got a tap room, and they've just got a shipping container, and they've converted it into their own brewery. I am due to go and do some filming with Phil and Elliot, so I can show you their tap room, show you their brewery. And this is the first beer that's come out of their brewery. Cam's Roadworks is a cask pale ale. I think it was a single hop with Cascade, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It was really nice and simple, but really eminently drinkable. And if that's the quality of beer that Phil and Elliot are going to produce going forward from their brewery that's right behind their tap room, then Portsmouth is only going to benefit from that, because I thought it was absolutely tremendous. And again, for a long time, this one was sitting top of the shop for the month. It's an absolutely cracking beer, Cam's Roadworks. Cam's Roadworks, people that don't know, for the last 18 months or so, there've been roadworks in the Portchester area that have caused absolute fucking carnage. So the names come from that. It's the Cam's area of Portchester and Fareham, and it's just a tremendous beer. Number 2 is this puppy here, which is absolutely tremendous, from Disruption is Brewing, their Attribute series of beers. This one was Charisma, and there's a review on the channel. It's absolutely fantastic. Hopped with Nelson Sauvin. I absolutely love Nelson Sauvin. About 5.7%, hazy New England IPA, and just tremendous. I can't say I've had a bad beer from Disruption is Brewing. They're all really, really good. This series of beers, this one's I've done the Superdelic, that'll be out at some point, but the Attribute Charisma with Nelson Sauvin, was a huge fan of that. And again, these 3 beers, the Motueka Universe, the Cam's Roadworks, and the Attribute Charisma, they could have all easily hit number 1, to be fair, because they're all really, really, for their style, all really, really good. And obviously Disruption is Brewing was my brewery of the month last month. So number 5, Case Matey from South Sea Brewing, Motueka Universe from Mackie Mackie, their Imperial New England IPA. Your Cam's Roadworks from the Portcullis, and Attribute Charisma from Disruption is Brewing, which leaves me with my number 1, and not just my number 1, Wanda's number 1, and the beer that since Wanda's had it, she hasn't stopped talking about. And this beer is from Mackie Mackie as well, and it is their Space Shake Chocolate. I've had some chocolate shake stouts in my time, and stouts that promise chocolate. This thing blows your mind. They use, I think it's either vanilla ice cream. They use some sort of ice cream powder. I think the chap was saying pure cacao, and in the glass. It took him about 20 minutes to pour it. because it was lively. I asked for 2/3. I think Wanda got just under 2/3 because it took so long to pour. But in the glass, it's just a creamy. It's like a melted Easter egg in a glass. Wanda used to like the Cocodocus from Staggeringly Good. There's a can of that around here somewhere. I don't think you'll be able to see them. Which was, she said, was the most chocolatey beer she's ever had. This Space Shake chocolate from Mackie absolutely blew it away. 8%, and it was like it was madness in the glass. Easy drinking, and just one of the greatest. Even Dean had it, and he was like, and Gemma, who doesn't drink that sort of beer, they were both blown away by it. Sadly, I didn't know about this beer, because I would have picked a can up. But the cans are all sold out now. So once the cans come back in, I think I've talked Wanda into doing a review with me on it, because I think her reaction would be absolutely fantastic. So that's my number one for the month on Untappd, which is Space Shake Chocolate from Mackie Brewery in Portsmouth. Just absolutely phenomenal. And their Motueka Universe is really good. So that's my top 5. Case Matey, Motueka Universe, Cans Roadworks, Attribute Charisma, and Space Shake Chocolate. Have you tried any of these beers? If you haven't, and you see these around, I mean, the Portcullis one you're going to struggle with, and probably the Southsea Brewing one you're going to struggle with. But I know Mackie are available on Trembling Madness. I think Disruption is Brewing might well be, but you'll be able to buy them from their web store. And if you see any of these beers, you're not going to be disappointed. Obviously, Space Shake Chocolate is the only beer other than Oregon Trail. They've got the solid 5 out of 5 this month, because I thought it was spectacular. So there you go. That's let's just stop there. That's Scott's monthlies for October. I've done it a couple of days early because I don't intend to have any more beer. What's been your favourite beers of the month? If there's been anything that's blown your mind, what's been your worst beer? I mean, the 3 shockers down there were absolutely fucking terrible. So if you see them around, avoid like the plague. Maybe like these videos, slightly different. Obviously trying to get the beer content out while not drinking so much. And I've really grown to really quite love Untappd. It's a very useful service, and I really like it. I don't know if you guys, again, if you do and you use Untappd, Scott reviews things, add me as a friend. I haven't refused anybody. I don't think I've fucked anybody off either, which is unusual for me. I hope you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what your favourite beers are of the month, etc, etc, etc. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. There's a subscribe button somewhere. I'll see you soon.